Hey guys, so I got this comment and I will answer it. I don't get many comments where you know, I have to make a video about it, but this is one of them. So, Green Mountain Brownie, Mountain, you, I remember you in the mountains. So they write, John, what is North Carolina like? I get that a lot. I'm from Vermont, beautiful, beautiful state. And because the taxes and restrictions is too expensive to live here and enjoy a nice life. In addition to too much woke politics. Despite how much I love my home, I think I should move. I think Tennessee also, depending on where you go, at least. For people who don't know, I've pretty much been to every state apart from Hawaii and Alaska. So I've been around. I think Tennessee looks like a nice state, no income tax, low property tax, and better weather than Vermont. Depending on what you mean by better weather, like less snow, because, you're up north, you're getting more snow. Which, for me, that's perfect. I love the snow. I also have family who have looked into North Carolina. Do you think you can make a video about North Carolina? Love you, man. No homo. It doesn't say that. That's just, you know. And then again, it might be a girl. I don't know. Um, so yeah, I would love to talk about my fine state of North Carolina. North Carolina, as we say here. Most people here have just a very subtle sort of accent, but you can tell that they've lived here their entire lives. Now, me, obviously, I'm not from here, so I don't have the accent. I can take it on, but I don't actually naturally have. I really, despite growing up in New Jersey, I don't have much of an accent. People just know that I'm not from around here because, I'm not talking like them. I don't have an accent when I talk. So, all right. So North Carolina. You want to know about North Carolina? Well, it's a very nice state depending on where you are. There's little to do around here. You've got the lake, which is a man-made lake, so you don't have to worry about any creatures of the deep lurking. We have Morro Mountain. This place certainly loves its hiking trails and stuff like that, but we've got Morro Mountain not too far. In town, probably about 2-3 hiking paths. Carowinds, which is an amusement park. Where obviously it's North Carolina, so South Carolina is right next to, or right next door to us. So you got Myrtle Beach, about maybe 3-4 hours away. So if that's something that tickles your fancy, weather-wise, depending on where you live, in the mountains, Boone is a great place to live if you want colder weather. Usually during the summertime, they don't normally get above like 70 degrees. So if you're looking for a nice, not cool, but not hot, it's definitely up in the mountains is where you want to be. Obviously, you have to look into this dangerous cities. Greensboro is pretty dangerous. Charlotte, depending on what part of town, you have the gorgeous part of town, and then you have the part of town with school buses that have bullet holes in them. So, I mean, it's really your preference. Do you want to live on the good side, or do you want to live on bullet holeville? So it's really up to you. Right now, it's no different than everywhere else. It's like I say this all the time, going to North Dollar General, they run out of things and they won't get stock for months. Same thing with most of the stores, even Walmart sometimes. Same thing depending on where you live. Access to different stores. Like around here, we have Walmart, we have Harris Teeter, we have Ingles, we have Food Lion, freaking Um, uh, Big Lots has a fucking food section. Um, Other places have little food sections. We have the Dollar Tree, we have the Dollar Store, we have Dollar General, we have Family Dollar. So all the dollar, we've got them all. Fucking bingo. Um, Plenty of places to eat. You got McDonald's, you got Taco Bell, Burger King, Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, Bojangles, KFC, Zaxby's, a few Chinese places. We have like two little Tokyos, Pizza Hut, Domino's, Little Caesars, Papa John's. So when it comes to food, you're not gonna go hungry. I'll tell you that much. Considering it's such a small town, and that's another thing you have to consider. Do you want a small town, or do you want some of that big city living? Me, I personally came here because I don't like the big city. This is like what people would consider like a retirement area. It's really slow, just like me. I don't like being forced to go fast. I'm not Sonic. Uh, I don't like big city living. I don't like the constant honking. I don't like the constant smoke in the air. I don't like the constant rushing around of everything. Everything here is pretty laid back. Kind of like me. You guys notice I'm pretty laid back. So, and I've been here a total of 10 years. Um, so that's one reason I came back here, or keep coming back, because it's my third time back. It's just a real laid back town. But again, that's just here. If you go to Concord or Charlotte or one of those cities, you're more hustle bustle. Um, you have like regular towns, but then you have like Charlotte kind of, with skyscrapers and stuff like that. It's really it's up to you, really. What's your preference? Do you want big city living? Do you want a big town? Or do you want something like where I live, where it's, I don't know, like 4,000 people? Around here it's good, especially if you have a kid in elementary school, because the school is literally right across the street, and it's not going to take you 15 minutes to get there. So no matter where you are here, you're going to get your kid to school on time. But it's just really hectic in the morning because the street isn't very wide, and you've got parents coming and going and this and that. You got the crosswalk guard trying to get kids across the street. So there's that. But that's really the only time you'll ever see traffic or anything around here. My area, extremely safe. Apart from the freaking ass hats that like to drive back down here, 50, 60 miles an hour in this back road. There's no actual violence really around here. Whenever, the power will go down, that's usually someone smacks into one of the power lines. But then when it comes to that, they're pretty good about coming out here. They usually have the power back on within an hour or two. So, like I said, it's more of a preference. So, you know, what kind of place do you want? A city living? You want a bigger town? Do you want a small town? Uh, are you someone who cares about having stuff to do? Or, are you perfectly fine like making fucking Walmart your hangout spots? It's up to you. Everyone moves for different reasons, and everyone likes certain places for different reasons. So I can only tell you what it's like, but you're the one who wants to know it. So like, what is your preference? Um, are you willing? Like, are you the kind of person who wants to drive to do something? 30, 40 minutes away, or do you want something in town? Like I said, if you love hiking, we've got you covered on that part. There's plenty of hiking around here. Back in the day, me and my friend, we used to go to Morrow Mountain all the time. We'd take the dog. Um, we'd go to one of the paths. There's Chuck Moorhead. There's the little the one by her parents' house. What's the name? The creek, uh, River Creek or something Creek. I can't remember. Um, but there's that. So got you covered there. We got a YMCA here. If you got that, that also tickles your fancy. We have, clearly, even though it's a small town, things that other places have as well. We got the movie theater. We have a drive-in movie theater, if that also is something you like to do. I know drive-in theaters, right? But like I said, it's up to you, your preference. If you have kids, if you don't have kids, your state of mind. I'm a slower person. I don't like to be forced to do things, and this place is really slow. It's I really if you're a person who worries about the weather, where I live, like I said, I've been here 10 years. Um and it's at least the last 7 years. Last year was cold, but most of the time it's hot in winter. You'll have cold days, but for the most part, it's still up in like the 70s and 80s. Um, Last year we were lucky we had two snow day or two snow not days, but one isn't even a storm either. But it snowed twice. So if snow is more of your thing and you want that kind of weather, the rainy weather, the snowy weather, like it's definitely up in the mountains. Honestly, it'd probably be better to right in the center, so that way you kind of have access to everything equally. Uh, but again, it's just a preference, you know. Like in the town I live in, it's one of those everybody knows everybody, everybody calls your friend. You don't need an invitation, kick off your shoes and come on in. Uh, Cheers, everybody knows your name, except me, because I wasn't born here, so no one knows my business. It's like, oh my god, did you hear that so and so? It's like, yeah, oh my god, I heard. What a fucking whore. That's pretty much the kind of town it is, because everybody knows everyone. They all went to school together. Like the elderly people who've been living here their entire lives. So, um, yeah. So, I mean, I like North Carolina, hence why I keep coming back. I like the town I live in, hence why I'm living in it. For me, it's inconvenient because I don't have a car of my own. And with the way things are, fucking even used vehicles are getting to be too expensive. And I mean, there's plenty of opportunity for jobs if you're willing to drive. Um, so like where I live, there's, I have in town, there's Salisbury, there's Locust, there's, if you want to drive a little further, there's Concord, uh, Richfield, Norwood. So there's plenty of places around here where if you're willing to travel. But even right now, pretty much everywhere is hiring. So if you have the credentials and you're what they're looking for, then finding a job, consider. And if I can find a job, I've worked a lot of fucking places here. If it's a small town and I can find a job easily like that, you really shouldn't have to. You just have to put in the effort. It's the kind of place where you have to call them back. You have to bother the fuck out of them. You know. But if I've had several jobs here, and if I can find several jobs in a small town, um, so it's it's not hard. You just gotta persistent, fill out that application and call them back. Say, hey, I filled out an application. Do you think have you had time to look over it? Normally they'll say, what's your name? And then they'll look at it then and there. So, but places like Concord or the bigger Charlotte, because there's so many fucking people, it might be a little harder. politic-wise, if you're concerned about that. I mean, it's North Carolina. It's mostly, conservative, especially the area I live in. I mean, I've seen maybe one Biden Kamala flag. I think I've seen maybe one Black Lives Matter shirt. I've seen maybe like one uh like a Trump flag. But there's really not, the most you'll see around here are those little signs on the outside of the house, and on the yard that says "Thank you, Jesus." That's pretty much as you'll get here. Um, that's just in this area. If you go somewhere like Charlotte, where it's heavy Democrats, yeah, you're gonna see more of the pride flags and this and this. So that's not your cup of tea. Probably not best. If Republicans aren't your thing in small towns like this, stay away from them. So again, it's preference. I'm terrible at doing this, trying to explain what's about this state. Because really, like I've said, it comes down to what you want. Because I can only tell you about the state, but I'm not inside your head. I don't know the reasons for wanting, like, I know you say about income tax and low property tax, and that stuff is cheap enough here. Of course, we have income tax and all that. Property, like houses, it depends. Being one of the original 13 colonies, it's been here a while. So some of the places, like a lot of the homes in town they're they're worth a lot. So it is a little on the expensive side, even though it is North Carolina. But there's a lot of factories around here that pay well. There's obviously the factory I work in. But John, you hate the factory. Yeah, my job, but the factory itself, because we're contracted. We're not actually with the factory. We kind of work for them, but we're not actually with them. We're contracted. There's that. There's a factory right across the street. It makes like pulleys or something. There's Fiberon. I think there's like two Fiberons. And it's like I said, depending on where you live. So easily you can look up online where you want to live, and you can find out about the property tax and how much a house would be, or rent, or something like that. I can just tell you that because of the being one of the original 13 colonies and having so much shit here, it gets pretty expensive. But it's doable. There's a lot of low income apartments, like for the low income families, ones that work with you. There's like 3-4 of those. So that's more of your style. They'll work with you. Yeah, I wish I was better at this, but this is not what I do for my job. So anyways, hope it helped out a little bit. In the end, you just kind of have to do your own research and look up different places in North Carolina and see which is safe, see what isn't safe, see what's cheaper, what's not cheaper, and kind of just ultimately comes down to you. I'm just a fucking random dude on the internet, so my opinion shouldn't really be taken seriously and should be more with a grain of salt, really. Because my opinion and my preference might be different than yours. So anyways, hope that helped, even though I don't think it did. But that's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.